The Toronto Blue Jays have a serious problem following yet another brutal loss against the Mariners in Game 2. There has been some wild new updates that have dropped that have big implications going forward. We're going to break that down, but we're also going to break down the biggest problem that the Jays are facing, and it involves one player in particular that absolutely not only needs to step up, but the reason that he and the Jays are not doing well is very, very clear. Not a lot of people are talking about it. We're going to break down exactly what all that is, as well as a few other things, including an interesting injury update surrounding Anthony Santander following being scratched in Game 2. You're going to want to stay tuned until the end of the video, folks. But before we get into it all, you guys are absolute beasts with the support. It truly means the world to me. Make sure to hit the subscribe button if you're enjoying the content. Yes, they're down 0-2, but guess what? We're on the road to 20,000 subscribers, and I have full faith in this Jays team coming back. Thank you guys for your support. Folks, a ton to go over today. The Jays, it is no surprise that they are they're in a very, very bad spot right now. They're down 0-2. Two of these games you really should have won. You think about Game 1, Mariners coming off of a 15-inning game just a couple nights before. Things have hit, not rock bottom, but pretty low here. And people are talking about it, and players are talking about it. And stay tuned till in a few minutes here, I'll dive into some of the injury updates and stuff ahead of tomorrow night's game. But for now, I want to kind of dive into what their problem is. Now, a player came out, and you can see this here. There's a full quote: take the bumps, take the bruises when you get them, be able to maintain what you've been doing during this whole time, this whole series, and really this whole playoff run, and really the whole season. But folks, an article dropped by Keegan Matheson, and it's outlining Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Now you might be thinking, Nick, everyone knows that Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is, the key to this team. And you're right? Vladdy is absolutely the heartbeat of this team. He was the reason and the focal point of Game 1 against the Yankees, and even into his grand slam, all these different things. Vladdy was the one who stepped up, especially in Bichette's absence. And now Vladdy is 0 for 7 in the ALCS, and he pointed a finger at himself and said, we need to get better offensively. For example, myself, I had a big at-bat and I couldn't come through. That's baseball. We need to go out there and win games. And I'm not taking this video to slander Vladimir Guerrero Jr. He carried them through a lot of this year. He carried them through, partially through, that Yankee series. But he's hitting ground balls again. And that's the thing that, some people are talking about, some aren't. Some are just saying, Vladdy sucks, all these different things. He's hitting the ball into the ground again, and he's not elevating the ball. And this has been something that throughout his entire career has been one of his, knocks against him. There's a lot of times where, Vladdy is doing really well. And throughout those times, think back to as recently as last week, he was getting the ball in the air, and even the outs were hard hit line drives, hard hit fly balls, even the occasional soft hit fly ball, soft hit line out. It doesn't matter because they were in the air. Right now, he's smoking the ball into the ground. He's pulling off of a lot of his swings, and that's a problem. Is it the main problem behind them losing? It's one of the key reasons, because this team beats with Vladimir Guerrero Jr. When Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is hitting the ball well, it follows suit. We've seen the trickle effect it can have against the Yankees, Dalton Varsho, Alejandro Kirk, everybody. Now, in this game and the game before, Vladdy hasn't been doing much, and the rest of the offense hasn't really been doing much either. And that's where, part of the issue lies, along with, of course, John Schneider. Some of his decisions people aren't happy with. I don't think the Trey Savage decision yesterday was bad by any means. His velocity was going down like a mile per hour an inning for the last 3. I think it was a perfectly fine decision. Louis Verlin, bad pitch, outside corner, hit a home run by the hottest hitter in baseball right now, right? Jorge Polanco. It is what it is. The Gausman decision, a bit puzzling. Of course, a couple of days ago, I had a video on that, and Schneider spoke out. These guys don't want the season to end, and you know what I mean? Whatever the outcome is, I feel like these guys all want to get an Airbnb somewhere and hang out for the winter. I think that means a lot. They've shown they're really good at moving on to the next thing, which is hard to do. They're very well equipped to just say, okay, what's important now? And right now, folks, winning Game 3 is, of course, the number one thing. We know. We also got some comments from Trey Savage. All these guys have played a lot of baseball in this clubhouse. They've lost. They won at a high level. This group is special. It's true, right? But we need Vladdy to be Vladdy. At the end of the day, no matter what happens to the pitching staff, Trey got a little bit unlucky. Doug Eddings is the worst umpire in baseball. A lot of things, came together to help them lose that game. But they gave up over 10 runs, right? And throughout Game 1 and Game 2, Game 1, Schneider probably made a bad call, pulling Gausman. He admitted it after. But guess what? They didn't score runs in that game. In this game yesterday, they barely scored any runs after tying it 3-3. So guess what? When that happens, you're kind of screwed anyway. And I can point fingers at, the pitching staff. I can point fingers at whoever. They need to score runs. It starts with Vladimir Guerrero Jr., and then the pitching staff will follow, right? You have Shane Bieber going on the mound tomorrow. You're going up against Logan Gilbert, who had pitched every 2 days for the past, for the playoffs, and you put up 3 runs total after getting to him early. It's sad. It's their biggest problem, but let me know down below what your thoughts are on that. This isn't to hate on Vladimir Guerrero Jr. by any means, but he needs to step up. Now, folks, a few other things to go over today. It has been confirmed that Brian Wu was taking, BP at the Rogers Center. If it gets to game 5, which hopefully, of course, the Jays by that point are up a little bit more, they don't get swept, Brian Wu is probably going to be pitching, which is not a great sign. But for tomorrow, you're going up against George Kirby, who is a very good starter. Had a bit of an interesting year, 4.21 ERA, but he's a very good starter. Now, everyone on the Mariners is good starters at this point. Logan Gilbert, Luis Castillo, George Kirby, Brian Wu, all these different guys are fantastic starters. Bryce Miller had a great start. You just have to figure it out. Like, the Mariners are a much better team than the Yankees and a much more well-rounded team than the Yankees. You can't do what you did against the Yankees and expect to win. But you kind of can if you could carry it over the offense, but it's not as simple as that, and that's the unfortunate reality. And for tomorrow, it is Shane Bieber versus George Kirby. Luis Castillo is scheduled to start for the Mariners in Game 4. Blue Jays, it'll be Max Scherzer because Chris Bassett pitched yesterday. So we're going up. I mean, if you lose tomorrow, you're down 3-0 with Max Scherzer on the bump. Probably not going to happen. The odds are already heavily now out of the Toronto Blue Jays' favor here. Yes, the umpire didn't help. Doug Eddings is absolutely horrible, but there was also some really bad plate discipline from the hitters yesterday, whether that be Vladdy, whether that be Varsho, whether that be Berger, whether that be Kirk, whether that be literally anyone, probably besides Nathan Lucas and George Springer. Even Springer had some. The plate discipline and the approach has turned kind of 180 degrees as well. They're chasing pitches outside. They're not letting them come to, the hitters. And I'm not going to pretend I'm a better hitting coach than any of the guys in the Jays system. They've had a great year, and there is still a chance to win. But these are things they need to fix because these are what contributed to some of the problems late in the year that allowed them to spiral down and almost lose the AL East. Now, again, I don't think the hook on you Savage was crazy. I know a lot of people did think so. I don't think the Jays are completely out of this series, but it is worth mentioning. With Bo Bichette out, you needed somebody to step up. And no one's done it yet, right? You have Varsho making weird plays defensively, saying the wind probably messed it up. Things are getting crazy right now. Like, when Varsho is not playing good defensively, it feels like the sky is falling. Take a breath. Get the win tomorrow. Teams that fall down 0-2 lose 89.2% of the time, or 89.3% of the time. Teams that are down 0-2. There's 11%, right? And I think there's a higher than 11% chance the Jays win this series. But they have to get it done, and it all starts tomorrow. Shane Bieber against George Kirby. It's a huge start for Shane Bieber's career, right? His contract is going to depend a lot on this start. Teams don't have a ton to base it off of. The Jays don't have a ton to base it off of. What his next contract will be. And the Jays are going to be in the market for starting pitching if and when they get eliminated from the playoffs. Or if they win the World Series. Either way, let me know down below what your thoughts are, folks. A big problem in the centers with Vladimir Guerrero Jr. You guys are beasts. Thank you guys for watching. See you later.